Erev Tov, Rabotai. Let's talk a little bit about getting ready for Passover with the kitchen and the house and all these things, how to get everything ready. It's a good thing, they say, before Pesach, that you should clean the house, every room. Why? Because then what happens is, once it's clean and organized, everything, makes it easier to do the bedikah, So if you're not going to clean the house, the problem is it's going to be a balagan. And it's going to be hard to find anything like this, It's not organized, not clean. This is why, the ladies, they do this, they clean the house before Passover. The good ladies, the ones who they know what to do. They know how to run a house. Right? They know what to do. They start cleaning early, and everything is ready to go, So then, once it's clean, everything is nice. That's one thing, right? So what about with the utensils, right? The kelim, silverware, all kinds of things like this. So the truth is, right, that if you have, the best thing is to have silverware for Passover, separate. If you have, this is great, because this way you don't have to do any kashering. You keep it in the closet. Once a year you pull it out, right? You have separate silverware, you have separate dishes, separate everything for Passover. It's very, very good to do this way,
Easier.
Makes my life much easier. So if you want to do it this way, right, great, fantastic. What about if you can't, right? Let's say you don't have, more silverware, you don't have more things like this, pots, pans. So then you have to kasher them, do hagala, this kind of thing, right? So how do you do hagala? You take like a big pot of boiling water, right? And all the things that you use with hot on the stove, right, things like this, you gotta put them in the boiling water. You wait till it's boiling. You put everything inside, one by one. Boom, 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 right? And everything what you put in there is going to be kosher for Passover. Whatever happened there, if there's some chametz got into it, all kinds of things like this. But things which you're using them only for cold. You don't have to kasher them. You don't have to. This doesn't need hagala. Things which are cold. You're using them only cold. So you have to wash it. That's it. That's all you got to do. There's nothing else you need to do with something like that. It doesn't need hagala. Hagala is only for things which you use on the stove, in the hot water, right? Hot pan, things like this. Right? So the thing is that sometimes you have things which don't go into the pot, they're too big. Right? So how do you do hagala with them? There are some guys in the street, by the way, that do hagala. Where they have a big pot. Probably you'll find some people like this on Main Street. And you take it there. You got some big stuff, and they'll put it in for you. They'll do hagala for you in the street. Pay them something, and that's the way it works. So that's one way to do it. Or the other way to do it is also you can do half and half. If you can't do the whole thing in one shot, you put this half and then the other half, right? And half and half you do hagala. This also works if you can do it that way. Just make sure you get the whole thing in there, right? Whatever. So if you want to use pots and pans like this, that's how you do it. You do hagala on them, and you can use them. If you use them with chametz, now you can use them for Passover, right? If you don't have a special for Passover, these kinds of things, that's what you do. Also, good idea, of course, you have to clean the kitchen, the counters, all these things, make everything nice and clean. You use some soap, some economica, whatever, all that stuff, right? All those chemicals that they use to clean everything, just to make sure everything is clean. This way, by the way, the Ashkenazim, they have this custom, they cover everything. They cover with paper, or some tin foil, things like this. It's not really necessary to do this. This is a chumrah. So if you want to go Ashkenazi way, do it this way. God bless you, But it takes time, So if you have the energy for it, be my guest. I'm sorry? Yeah, stove. We'll talk about the stove. We'll talk about the oven. We're going to talk about the business. So, as we said, right, you don't really need this. Also, you don't need a separate oven, for Passover. Some people have a separate oven. You don't need this. Not necessary. So how do you kasher the oven for Passover? Basically, put it on full blasts for like half hour. Right? Everything. If there was any chametz in there, it'll get burned. So that's it. Once you do that, it's ready to go for Passover. Like this. This is the way you do it. So what about the stove, right? So the thing is, that some people, first of all, you should clean the stove, right? It should be nice and clean. So if it's something which doesn't touch the food, it doesn't really need hagala or something like this, But if it's something which does touch the food, so there, you should put some hot water, over it. If it's touching the food, that area. And there was some chametz spilled there maybe, right? Something like this, So you got to do it this way, make sure everything is nice and clean. And whatever needs to have some hot water there poured on it, you put hot water on it, right? If there was some chametz there, if you think it's going to touch the food and so forth and so on. But the places which are not going to touch the food, that's not really, it's not really necessary to put hot water over these things. What do you need it for? What's the purpose of that? The only things which are going to touch the food. So what about the plates, right? So the truth is, here also, better to have plates for Passover. But if a person doesn't have plates for Passover, so if he has no choice, he can use the plates that he has. If he has no choice, he's got no other option. But it's a good idea, proper thing to do is to have plates for Passover. This way, we're going to be 100% sure. And I'll tell you why this is, because I'll explain to you a little bit, right, a little bit deeper what this means. So the thing is, that the plates that we have, the china, it's made out of cheres, earthenware, right? Clay. These are made out of clay. But they have also coating, on the outside. There's a coating there. So the truth is, that this coating, it's made out of like some kind of synthetic material, like plastic or something, So there is one rabbi who told me that he went to a certain, scientist, somebody who knows, about these things. He told him that these things do not absorb, these coatings do not absorb the flavor inside the plates, So therefore the truth is, that if that's the case, that doesn't absorb, then it's not really a problem, You don't have to really do anything special. Just clean it, make sure it's clean. So the truth is, that also another thing I want to tell you is that glass, drinking glasses, right? Anything which is made out of glass, it doesn't need hagala because it doesn't absorb. According to the Shulchan Aruch, it doesn't absorb. So therefore, whatever you have which is glass, just clean it, and use it. That's it, right? Wash it and use it. You don't have to do anything kashering to that. The Ashkenazim, they have a custom, minhag is that they kasher also the glass. They do like some kind of a thing, for 3 days, they kasher it like this. It's not necessary to do this. For us, not necessary. So glass is no problem. Also, there are dishes which are also made out of glass. Like corel, even though they don't look like glass, because they have colors, but they're glass, So things like this, you can also use them for Passover. It's not really a problem, because they don't absorb anything. So you can use them, just make sure that they're clean and nice and clean, and it's ready to go. So that's how, pretty much, right, you do all these kinds of things. So as we said, right, whatever needs hagala, you can do hagala, whatever. So it depends on your situation. What about
knife?
Yeah, so knife, it gets hot because we cut,
Yeah.
It gets hot. So that's why, usually the best thing to do, it says in the Shulchan Aruch, with the knife, is to put hagala, put it in the hot boiling water. 100%, right?
For how long?
1 second. 1 second.
That's it?
That's it. Just drops in there.
We can use it, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Once you want. Clean it, do hagala, ready to go. That's it, right? If you want, you can buy a new one, right, for Passover,
What about carpet?
Carpet.
Yeah.
Ah.
You make only that's it?
So, well, I understand your question. There's a lot of crumbs in there, that go in there.
Yeah.
So, use a vacuum and vacuum it up, before Passover. That's what you gotta do, What else can you do?
Police officer.
I'm sorry?
You say
No,
purple garlic.
you cannot clean the carpet. You need to change it.
Oh my God. Need thy book.
Rich man. Rich man.
So, I'll explain to you guys why it's not necessary to do these kinds of things. Don't go too crazy, Because the truth is that when we do the bitul, as we said, right, we do bitul chametz before Passover. So that nullifies everything which is more than a kazait. But things which are, smaller than a kazait, they don't need, you don't have to destroy them, So whatever is small, right, perurim, crumbs, they don't need to be destroyed, So if you have some crumbs in your carpet, you're not transgressing the prohibition of chametz. You understand? There's no. I'm sorry. If it's less than a kazait, then a bitul nullifies it, and that's it. You don't have to do anything more than that. That's it. If it's less than a kazait, But something which is kazait or more. So how much is kazait? Like this, right? Half an egg. Half an egg is kazait, right? So if it's something big like that, you got to destroy it. That's true. You got to remove it. So basically, once you sweep the floor, and you do a sponge, whatever, you mop it up, that's it, you're done. What else do you need? What are you going to do? Look with a microscope, for chametz?
Lick it.
This is crazy, this is not normal stuff. Don't go too crazy with these things. There's no end to it. People, they drive themselves crazy before Passover, and they're so tired, because they made themselves crazy with all kinds of extra things, so they come in, they'll sit there, and they're like, look like a dead man, looks like a zombie, yeah. That's it, don't go too crazy with these things, be normal, something which is, don't worry about crumbs, don't look for crumbs,
Important clear neshama.
Exactly, yeah, it's true what you're saying, There is something like this, in the Kabbalah, it says in the Arizal, that a person, who's very careful about chametz, he won't come to sin all year, so it's a good thing, to be careful. But halacha, doesn't tell us, to worry about crumbs. You know what I mean? That's not really, whatever you see, sweep it up and put it away. That's it, right? Whatever you don't see, it's hidden under there, under your carpet, right somewhere inside, deep inside the carpet. That's for the cockroaches. Let them eat a little bit. Give them a little something to eat. That's good for them. For the ants, whatever, right? They also need some mezonot. They also need. Let them take care of that. No problem. Whatever it is. Okay. So that's the way it is, Rabbi. You gotta be, don't go too crazy, but be careful. What it is. That's the thing. That's the proper way to do it. So as we said, right, that a person. What else do I want to tell you? Yeah. So I'll tell you another thing, which is important to know. I told you last time, right? The best thing to use for the seder, Leila seder, is the Matza shmura, right? That's the thing you should use. The round ones, right? Handmade. We have also the soft ones now, Baruch Hashem. That's even better. It's going to be nice and easy on your stomach. Believe me. All the Sfardim in Israel, they eat the soft matzah today. They're all buying it because they know this is the best thing. It's good for your stomach. But the hard one, it's like stone. Even. Kemo even b'mayim azim. You know what I mean? It goes down there all night. Like your stomach is hurting. From this stone. It's like stone. This matzot. You know what I mean? What can you do, right? So that's good for the Ashkenazim. Let them eat the stones, and we'll eat the good stuff. Why should we? That's what their minhag. Their minhag is they make it hard. Everything hard, like stone. We never did this kind of a thing in our tradition. We made soft matzot. That's the way it was.
I can buy the soft one.
There are people who are selling it, look around, make some phone calls, there are some people who are selling it over here in this area. There are some people, you gotta, there are some dealers, that are working around here. I already ordered it with Jonathan, last week, I ordered it with him. So now it's too late to order with him, because it was already pre-ordered. Anyway, but I want to tell you one thing, right, that when it comes to the rest of the Passover, besides the Leila Seder, you can eat regular matzot, from a box, like everybody else. You don't have to eat matzah shmura all Pesach. No such a thing like this. Whoever does this, by the way, is spending a lot of money. I don't even know if it's worth it. Honestly, to be honest with you,
They can afford it. Why not?
Get a stomach ache. It's because it's very heavy, that stuff. It's not really so good. But the one in the box, is very light. Easier to eat. It's much better. Much better for your stomach. So. Even according to Shulchan Aruch, right, you're not obligated to eat matzah shmura all Passover. Only just the Leila Seder. That's it. The rest of the time, eat regular matzot, right? Buy the regular one. You save money, and your stomach is going to feel better. Why? What do you need all these problems for? To pay extra money to have a stomach ache. What do you need
Can
for?
you use matzot in a soap?
They cost, these matzot, they how much they cost now? $70, for a kilo, or something. Crazy money, crazy. $70 for matzot. 100, whatever, yeah, it's crazy, it's crazy.
My question. I can't use the matzot in the soap.
Why would you want to put it in the stove?
Soup.
Soup. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is a good question, right? So the truth is, that the Ashkenazim, some of the Ashkenazim, the Hasidim, they don't eat matzah shuya. You know what that means? They call it gebrochts. What's gebrochts? They put the matzah in the soup, or whatever, soak it in the water or whatever. They don't eat that. Why? Because they're afraid maybe it wasn't baked fully. So when you put it in the soup, it's going to become chametz, But the truth is, according to Rambam, this is not a problem, We're not really worried about this. We Sfaradim, we're not makpid about this. We're not machmir. We're not machmir about this. So you can soak the matzot in the soup, right? Or put it in your tea, whatever you want to do. Right? There's no problem with that. We have no problem with this.
How much time you can keep it in the soup?
5 hours. You want to do 5? No problem. Whatever you want to. It's all the same. Until next Passover. Till next Pesach.
Somebody say you cannot keep it a long time.
This is Ashkenazi, Hasidim. Hasidim. They're very strict. Yeah, they're very strict about these guys. Okay, that's the thing, with the matzot. So the rest of it, as we said, the rest of Passover, no problem. What about the maror, right? What's the best maror to eat? What's the best maror? In the old country, right, we used to use chren, chren, which is like very bitter, Oh, heart attack, impact. You know what I mean? Do you eat this stuff? You know what I mean? You may have to go to the hospital, to the emergency room. You have to eat a kazait, which is, big. So can you imagine? You eat this much of chren, you're gonna go to the hospital. You know what I mean? So this is the reason why. This is one of the reasons, but also there's another reason, which is that the truth is, that the best thing to use for maror is romaine lettuce. Romaine lettuce. Why? Because this is the real one, that they said in the Talmud, the best one. It's called chasa, right? So why does this word chasa? What does this mean, chasa? HaKadosh Baruch Hu was chas aleinu. He had mercy on us and took us out of Mitzrayim. So therefore, the best thing is romaine lettuce. But try to get like a kosher one. Go to Aaron's or Wasserman's, that kosher one there, which is already checked and no bugs in it. You know what I mean? Yeah, grown in a greenhouse. Try to get that one if you can, right? Because otherwise you got to look at them, check them out. If there's any bugs there, you got to look there. It's a balagan. This is the real maror. This is the real maror. Romaine lettuce is the real maror. Which, right? Yeah, right. Exactly. It's not really supposed to be. That's the thing. In Hebrew, right? The word mar. There's a word mar and there's a word charif. Right? You're Israeli. What's the difference? Charif is very bitter, right? Very bitter. Mar is a little bitter. So that's the thing, Romaine lettuce is a little bit bitter. That's maror. What you're talking about is charif, This chren is charif. It's not maror, it's charif. That's something else. It's much more than maror. So the truth is, according to Talmud, according to Shulchan Aruch, the best thing to use is romaine lettuce. Buy kosher one, right? You're all set. You're set to go. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen. Rabbi Chananya ben Shomer, that's HaKadosh Baruch Hu l'zeket Yisrael. לפיכך ריבה להם תרומות צור שנאמר אדוני חפץ למען צדקו יגדיל תורה ויאדיר.